The Oklahoma Sooners getting some good news ahead of a big-time matchup with the Tennessee Volunteers.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Sooner Nation? Welcome to Locked On Sooners, and thank you for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there tuning in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. This episode is brought to you by Mazda. Like our players, we sweat every detail because when you make every move count, pulling off the unexpected is only the beginning. Stay tuned later for highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward, Mazda, Move, and Be Moved. I'm John Williams of Sooners Wire and USA Today Sports, and he is Thor from Asgard. You can follow his work over at Unfair Sports. Now, that's Jay Smith of Unfair Sports, and it's our Halloween edition as we get you ready for Oklahoma at Tennessee. We'll go through our final predictions. Friday fan feels. There was a lot of feedback this week on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, so thank you for all that feedback. We'll go through some of the best comments. Can't fit them all in. We'd have to do like a whole hour-long episode to get all of the comments and feedback in, so thank you for that. How can Oklahoma beat Tennessee? We'll discuss that in the second segment. Jay, we got some good news, though, on the Thursday night availability report. Looks like 2 starters are trending towards playing for the Oklahoma Sooners on Saturday night.
Yeah, we got some upgrades, and I'm going to be honest, this is kind of what we needed. So when we pull up the report here and I look at this, seeing that Gentry, Williams, and Kobie McKinzie have both been upgraded to probable, which tells me there's a very good chance they'll both play. Now, granted, the Kobie one is a little bit slightly worrisome, only because it was kind of a growing type situation. Those things are kind of squirrely, kind of like hammies. They just, they have their moments where they're not great, and sometimes they feel amazing, and then like a minute later, it's like, I pulled it again, it hurts. Yeah. So I'm hoping Kobie's fine, but Gentry's shoulder was his. I think he kind of stung it a little bit when he fell, and I believe that was in the South Carolina game. Yeah. So seeing that he's back is huge going up against these big wide receivers at Tennessee. They've got some playmakers in Matthews as well as Brazel and Staley, Brandon Staley. Like for me, I want Eli chasing Staley around there in the slot because I know that he got the lateral quickness and everything to do that. But those outside dudes, because Chris Brazel is like 6'5", and Matthews is what, 6'2", 6'3", if not taller. He's a big dude as well. You want to have your biggest and best and fastest corners to follow them, and that's a big deal having Gentry back.
Yeah, and it could be also a big Jacoby Johnson game. Yes, because he's got the size and the height and the length to be able to match up a little bit as well. But yeah, it's good news for the defense, trending towards getting 2 key contributors back. I like you. I think Kobie McKinzie will probably be a game time decision. It'll just be, how's he feeling going through warmups? And it wouldn't surprise if he goes through warmups, he gets the go ahead to play. I mean, it's going to be a down by down kind of situation for him. Hopefully he's able to make it through the whole game and he doesn't have any lingering issues from what happened. And honestly, it was the right call to pull him out if he wasn't able to go against Ole Miss, because you don't want to lose him for the whole season just trying to tough it out and work through something like that on the field. We saw Dylan Stewart go through something very similar the week before. Those things can have lingering issues, but yeah, getting Gentry back is huge. I'll be curious to see what Logan Howland's availability is going to be. He was available this last week against Ole Miss, but Oklahoma did roll out your 2, true freshmen at offensive tackle. I expect it's going to be the 2 true freshmen at offensive tackle again, in Michael Fasusi at left and Ryan Foje at right tackle, but no other real big surprises on this. On the Tennessee side, and we haven't really talked about it yet, but Jermond McCoy not being available for this game is huge for the Tennessee side. He's a preseason All-American. He's maybe their best defensive player, and he's not going to be playing in this one for a Tennessee team that ranks 124th in the nation in passing yards allowed. I mean, not having him back yet, that's still going to sting when they're trying to defend teams.
Yeah, but they did get one cornerback that was listed on the injury report in one of their other games, which was Colton Hood. Colton Hood, he was a transfer from Colorado, and he's a really good corner. Like, he's really good. I remember seeing when Colorado lost him, I was like, well, that sucks, because he was probably one of their brighter spots out there. But it appears that he's going to make a return. Now, like Arion Carter looks like with this turf toe, he's not going to be able to probably play in this game. There's a chance. I mean, he's questionable, but turf toes at linebacker is iffy. That's painful.
Yeah.
Remember, Peyton Bowen dealt with that a pretty bad one through most of the season, and he did not look the same athletically. You don't want a bigger linebacker running around with that and thinking they're going to be that effective in a game where you do struggle in the pass game. And so I'm very intrigued to see where that goes for them. But as you mentioned, Logan Howland being there is questionable. Like I said, he was available last game. I expect him to progress again and be available in this game. But I do anticipate it still being the freshman. I think it's going to be Fasusi and Foger as your tackles, and mainly because they do a really good job of moving furniture. They like Fasusi's kind of struggled a little bit, but I know he's been dealing with that ankle deal since the Michigan game. But if he can stay consistent and just do what he needs to do out there on the edge, and continue to get the protection there for Mateer, Mateer should be able to have time and be able to get comfortable and throw the ball. I'm not concerned with Foger. He looked really good in his first start. He looked much better than he did when he played guard. And so I think he's kind of figured things out in technique. And so if Howland plays, not a bad thing, because I think Logan Howland has shown that he's developed into a really good, solid tackle. But I am satisfied with Foger being out there with Fasusi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think Foger rotating in, or sorry, not Foger, but Howland rotating in with Fasusi, giving him some breathers at times isn't a bad thing. And then you have Luke Baklenko at right tackle to back up Foger, a good veteran presence. And we'll talk about this in the next segment, but I think that's going to be a key element to this is going on the road with two true freshmen starting at offensive tackle. They're further away from the communication between the center and the quarterback. So, I mean, and Oklahoma's fans have provided that atmosphere that's created false starts for oppositions. Can these two guys, can they hold up in an environment where it's going to be 100,000 Tennessee fans screaming their heads off, trying to get Oklahoma into false starts? It's going to be key, man. It's going to be a tough road environment, and I'll be curious to see how these guys hold up.
Yeah, and I'm interested with the Colton Hood one too. Like I said, he's not on the list for Tennessee, but he was dealing with a calf issue in which he didn't finish the Kentucky game. And so in that case, now you ask the question of what is he going to look like in this game with the calf injury, right? How good is he? And calf injuries are very, you got to be, cautious with those. I was trying to figure out the best words to say it, but you got to be cautious with that one. The main reason why you got to be really cautious on those is because depending on where the strain is, it could end up being an Achilles situation. We've seen players, heck, if you're an NBA fan like me, I'm a big Thunder fan. You watch the NBA Finals. Halliburton hurt his calf a couple games before Game 7, and in Game 7, that bad boy popped. That Achilles popped. Yeah. And that is a very common thing. And so hopefully, if he is good enough to play, he can play and not get injured. But I definitely sense that Tennessee is going to be cautious with him. But I'm guessing that it wasn't that serious because, I mean, if you think about it, they beat Kentucky 56-34. So it's not like they had to play him in this game. So I sense that he's probably going to be a lot better and be able to at least play enough. But with the speedsters we have, man, we may have an opportunity to go ahead and, burn somebody.
Well, and try him out, get him moving laterally.
Force him laterally, everything.
Yeah. See what he's going to be able to do. And, it's up to John Mateer and those wide receivers to connect and see if they can take advantage of a Tennessee secondary that's not very good. We'll talk about it coming up next. How can Oklahoma beat the Tennessee Volunteers? Coming up on Locked On Sooners. This episode is brought to you by Mazda's moving the game forward for those who believe it's not just about playing the game. It's about redefining it. There are moments that do more than put points on the board. They move crowds, move culture, and keep moving the game forward. This week's moment that moved the game forward was Xavier Robinson's big 65-yard touchdown run. It changed the game for Oklahoma. It got them back into a game in which, Ole Miss was dominating. Ole Miss really had Oklahoma right where they wanted them, and Xavier Robinson flipped the script, and he got Oklahoma back into the game and gave them an opportunity to go win the game at different times, but we know how that all played out. When you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning, and just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. Once again, thanks for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there. Tune in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcast. Jay, we got to discuss, man, who do you think is going to be worthy in this one to carry Mjolnir's hammer? How can Oklahoma beat the Tennessee Volunteers inside Neyland Stadium?
Well, I don't know if any of them's going to be worthy. It's going to depend on if we run the ball like we're supposed to. We need to give them the hammer. Run it down their throat. That's really the most important thing. But to me, the biggest way that Oklahoma win this game, Tennessee gives up a lot of passing yards. They give up a lot of touchdowns. They give up a lot. Their defense has been so injured that they give up enough points. The question is going to be, how confident will John Mateer be in this game? That's the most important thing. If John Mateer comes into this game with confidence and he goes out there and he slings the ball around, I'll put it to you this way, John. This is the way that I think Oklahoma truly could win. What I noticed is that Mateer plays best at the beginning of the game, and things kind of tickle down as the game progressed. Oklahoma needs to get up by a touchdown or two, just like they did in the Michigan game, with some long drives early. If they get up early, I think it'll be really hard for Tennessee to come back because they'll be forced to do a lot more of the things that they're going to be throwing the ball like they want to anyway. So they'll stick to their typical game plan, but I think that puts a lot more urgency on their back. If you can find a way to take the energy out of Neyland Stadium early, as early as possible, and heck, get a big play and take it to the house, you should be good. That's going to be, to me, the most critical thing, plus eating that clock with the run game. You may not be able to run up the middle because their interior is not bad when it comes to stuffing the run. I looked at the advanced metrics, and they actually have a solid stuff percentage. It's going to be about just sustaining drives, getting 4, getting 5, getting 6 on those runs, and just keep the ball moving and wear that team out. When you wear them out, you can go ahead and hit them with the hammer on the deep pass and just throw it out there from Mjolnir and just bring it back, score the points, which is critical. That's the most important thing there. You just don't want to go out there and, be overly mischievous like Loki and make everybody think you're going to do something special and then fall flat on your face.
Yeah, and I don't want Oklahoma overthinking this one. Tennessee isn't great against the pass, and at the same time, they're like 50th in the nation in run defense. So they can be run on a little bit. I mean, they're not the worst run defense. Ole Miss was worse, and Oklahoma refused to run against them. Yeah. You've got to maintain balance. You can't put everything on John Mateer's shoulders. You cannot have him going into this one trying to throw it 40 times or even trying to run it, 10, 15 times. Don't rely on his running. Let him throw it. Just let him be a quarterback. Let him pass. I know he's not the most accurate passer, but let him get into a rhythm there. Don't worry about having him make every single decision. When you want to run it, just run it. Run it with your running backs. When you want to throw it. Use more play action. Oklahoma doesn't use enough play action right now in the offense, and I want to see him use a little bit more. But you're right, man. So much of this depends on John Mateer's confidence, and I think just like we've seen with Jackson Arnold before him and Michael Hawkins Jr., it's like when those turnovers hit, it's like the confidence just tanks. And I need John Mateer to not worry about turning the ball over. Yeah. The Texas game happened. You got to flush it and move on. You got to you got to fling the ball, man. You got to throw it. You cannot sit on the ball and hold on to it and not make the throws you're expected to make. You just got to go throw the ball.
Buddy, you did that in the flipping South Carolina game. You gave us some of the stuff that we were looking for. Do that again. Yeah. This game should be like the South Carolina game. The only difference is that Tennessee's going to move the ball, and that's going to be the challenge on our defense. Lane Kiffin had a great game plan. I'm going to keep giving him props again. Lane Kiffin did the right game plan of doing the opposite of what he normally does. He did not play tempo. He stopped. He took his time. He stayed in the huddle. Heupel ain't going to do that. So for BV and them, it's all about being prepared. And if you're going to make those subs, you should be able to slow it down. You should also you need to get into the ref's ears and say, hey, if they're subbing, I'm going to sub too. I get the same opportunity, and I don't have to rush my guys out there. That gives you a chance to be able to call and change your matchups, change your plays, and change your looks as you send the new dude out there. Just you've got to be paying attention. That's going to be the most critical component of time management in this game, is you're going to have to make sure you pay attention thoroughly to when Tennessee makes moves and rotate guys in and out. You got to make sure everybody's matched up with somebody. Even if you're not playing, if you're not playing man, make sure that you're doing like a matchup zone. Just make sure that they think you're running into a man and you can pop it into zone if you need to, but you've got to make sure that you're confusing Aguilar. The big thing about him too, John, and me and Eric Kane talked about it on yesterday's episode of Locked On Sooners, he pointed out that Joey kind of, when he got a person he wants to go to, he gonna throw it to him. He gonna get it to that guy, and he's willing to throw. That's the one thing that makes him so good and quote unquote so terrifying. So if there's anything that these Sooners need to be out there doing is be prepared. Make sure that, you're on your ones and twos. Make sure that always somebody's accounted for, period. If it's safeties, if you don't think that person's accounted for, they're yours now. Something, just account for everybody. And I think that will help us. So I don't think they're going to be able to run on us like they normally have.
No, they're not going to be able to run on Oklahoma. I mean, we know Tennessee will break one because every team has broke one good run against Oklahoma. Keywan Lacey did it last week. We saw Trey Wisner do it in the OU Texas game. We saw Justice Haynes do it earlier this season. Everybody's going to break one.
Jeremiah Cobb, yeah, everybody is.
But can you limit the damage? And can you limit those big plays to that really good wide receiver core? That's going to be key in this one. If you can limit those big plays, if Cortland Guillory can stand on his head, to use a hockey phrase, in this one and play another really strong game, I like Oklahoma in this one. I like their opportunity to slow that team down. Here's a little stat for you, Jay, for the Tennessee Volunteers. I saw this one over on the Book of Faces, the Facebook today, and I just thought it was great. This one comes from Bear Bryant's Burner. He says, Tennessee's won 4 P4 games. Those teams are a combined 1-17 in their conference. Here are the teams: Syracuse 1-4, Arkansas 0-4, Mississippi State 0-4, Kentucky 0-5.
I hate you, Kentucky. I just want you to know that.
Yeah, I mean, they could have had the one.
You ruined the whole weekend for everybody.
Mississippi State almost had the one.
Kentucky had it too. Kick a field goal, man. It's kick the darn field goal, but I digress. Yeah, that's very much, and they've given up at least 30 points to every single one of them.
Yep.
That should tell you something. So I don't care how inept we feel as Oklahoma offense is, they better score at least 35 points.
They got to get 30. I mean, 30, 35.
If they don't get a minimum of 30, I'm be pissed.
Yeah.
That may be the nail in the coffin for Arbuckle.
Yep.
This is the game. Everybody puts numbers up on Tennessee.
Yeah.
Everybody. Syracuse could put 26 on them. And they're not that good of a team this year. Like, Fran Brown and them struggling. They lost 4 straight. They scored 20 points in their last 4 games. Right? So, Tennessee gave up 26 to them, but they scored 3, 18, 13, and 16 that's their last 4 games. So, my point, we better figure out how to... Arbuckle, you better go put up some numbers. This is your game to stat pat. I'll put it this way. John Mateer, if you want to get back in the Heisman conversation, go throw for 500 yards in this game. You have a chance to do it.
I think the Heisman conversation is long gone. But if you want to go and remind everybody why we were all so excited about him, then this is the opportunity to kind of rewrite some of the narratives. This is the opportunity to go and remind folks why you were such a big pickup in the transfer portal. Yep. Ben Arbuckle, this is your opportunity to go remind everybody why you were one of the top coordinator hires in the offseason. Some of the allure has kind of fallen off of both of those guys and some of the struggles. You've got to rebound. You've got to find a rhythm. You've got to find a groove, and you got to just move the ball. And again, it comes down to John Mateer just executing the offense. Don't try to do too much. Don't try to be a hero. Don't try to do more than what the offense is requiring. Just do what Ben Arbuckle is requiring of you and play on time. If you play on time, you're going to have opportunities to create big plays. And again, whether you're running with Xavier Robinson or you throw it to him, just get him the ball. That dude is too good with the ball in his hands. We've seen him as a receiver as well. Just really good with the ball in his hands. He makes guys miss. He gets through tackles. Find ways to get him the ball, and you got to find ways to get Jerry Kanik the ball as well. He's just too dynamic to not get enough targets. Deion Burks, this is one of those games where you just spread the wealth. You distribute the ball widely. You let everybody get an opportunity, let everybody eat, and then you go from there, man. I think that they're going to have an opportunity to move the ball. Tennessee's allowing over 30 points per game this season. They're 114th in the nation in points per game allowed. Again, 124th in the nation in passing yards allowed. This is an opportunity to get the offense on track, because as you get ready for the final 3 games of the season, all 3 of those teams rank in the top 25 in points allowed per game this season.
Yeah, they
so
do.
This is the one. You've got to find an offensive rhythm before the end of the season.
You got to take advantage of it. This is the game. This is the opportunity. This is the one where if you put up the numbers, people will look at you and be like, oh, okay, I think they figured it out.
Yep.
Do it.
And I need a bounce back game from the defense, just from an execution standpoint. Yeah. Just be where you're supposed to be. When you have an opportunity to make a play, make the play.
Oh, yeah, you got to tackle in space. If you don't tackle in space, you're screwed, because these guys will make you miss. Yep. They're going to spread you out, and they're going to force you to be one-on-one. Often, you got to make that tackle in space. Show that you have the ability to grab and hold on. Wrap up as much as possible. Use your body. Don't arm tackle. If you arm tackle, they will get past you, and they will outrun you to the end zone for the touchdown. Don't do that. But there's ways that we can get there.
That's right. All right, we got final predictions. We got Friday fan feelings coming up here on Locked On Sooners.
It's almost the weekend, and time to look back to crown this week's MVP on Who Delivered, powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving more every time you order. These players delivered when it mattered most. Let's break it on down. For the Sooners, we got to talk about Xavier Robinson, who delivered in a big way. That massive run of 65 yards for a touchdown. When the pressure was on, Xavier Robinson showed up until we decided not to give him the ball anymore. But no hesitation, no delay. He did exactly what you were looking for. And if he's been watching it over the last couple weeks, you notice the X-Rob's performance wasn't a fluke. He's been doing it for a bit. And Xavier Robinson should be now on a streak. And just like Xavier Robinson delivered for the Sooners, DoorDash delivers your Saturdays with DoorDash Streaks. You save every Saturday that you order, so make sure you order this Saturday, stack it up all season, and you can save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday, keep the streak alive, fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply, promo period through 11/18. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of the game or want to ride that hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. As you know, my Thunder have been going through double overtime a lot, but the last couple of games, they've been pulling away. So, plus you can even combine your live bets into same game parlays for a shot at a bigger payout. So, keep every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. My Thunder have done a few of those. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA.
Once again, thanks for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there tuning in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. All right, Jay, we've got a mixed bag of emotions for Friday Fan Feels today. Let's talk about this one. This one's a pretty good question coming from Matthew H over on Facebook. He says, why are we constantly injured, and why do most of the injuries happen in spring practice?
So I mentioned this on one episode before, and so I'm gonna go ahead and reiterate it for the uninitiated. For the brand of physical ball that we want to play, you will have collateral damage. And remember, this group of people, these guys, this defensive line we have, considered one of the best in the country. So you kind of unfortunately deal with that, because if you noticed, it's only on one side of the ball. And offensive line is one of the hardest positions to build nowadays because of the portal and because of the movement and the lack of opportunities to truly build these guys up for 2-3 years. It's hard. You get lucky enough every once in a while to find a lineman that comes in day one ready to play. Michael Fasusi, a Foger, a few games in, but to get them all to jail, man, you need them all together for a bit. And the hardest thing to do is build that because of movement. But this defensive line is ridiculous, and that's kind of one of the problems.
Yeah, so when we asked the question, how do you feel about the Oklahoma Sooners going into this one? Greggy on Facebook says, I trust my ex-wife more. And I think this is kind of where a lot of the fan base is right now, Jay. And it's kind of unfortunate, man. Like, the hope has kind of been sucked out of the fan base a little bit. And I think it's just because we've had opportunities, In the Texas game, you go into halftime with a lead. Against Ole Miss, you find a lead in the third quarter, and then you just kind of see those things evaporate. You see those opportunities get wasted, and you don't see this team coming through in the clutch. And so I kind of get where Greg's coming from a little bit, but Oklahoma's got a chance to rewrite some of that this week if they can go into Tennessee and pick up a big, top 15 win.
Yeah, that's a possibility. I think the solution also here too is, John, you got to pick better X's.
That's right. All right. Next one comes from at Black Label Sales on X. He says, I feel great about what BV and staff is doing. I know the losses this year stung, but if they get hot right now, they are a F around and find out unit.
FAFO. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And I agree. Like I said, I've said this, when we talked about the frustrations of losing. I get everybody's frustration, and I'm totally think you're entitled. If I think you're irrational and saying fire everybody immediately, I got to say something about that. It doesn't make any sense. This new era of college football is different, man. Remember, Ohio State lost like 2 games last year and won a natty. They ended up going on the drive. They got stronger as the season progressed. It feels like our line is getting better as the season's progressing. Now, I need our quarterback to get better as the season's progressing. Yep. I need him to get healthier. Now, if he shows up in this game again and he puts up some numbers, then what? You tell me. You tell me what you think, what you feel, what you think you can say. I want to know what y'all feeling on that, because there is a possibility that we can move forward into some big stuff if John Mateer shows up. This is on him, and it's also on Ben Arbuckle handing that ball off and running against the edges.
Yeah, it's one of those where you've done enough on the defensive side to put Oklahoma in an opportunity to win games. It's just unfortunate the offense hasn't taken advantage of that. And yeah, they're 6-2. You feel like you could actually be better than 6-2. You had opportunities against Texas, but you turned the ball over too much. You had opportunities against Ole Miss. You just couldn't convert on third down, and you couldn't extend drives in the third and fourth quarter. And the game just kind of went away from you. So it's not, and I'm not going to say the words, I'm not going to say Lincoln Riley's favorite phrase, but it's not like you're getting blown out in these games.
That's
what I'm saying. And it's not like you don't have opportunities to go win it. Now, if you want to have a discussion about the coach and the coaching staff, maybe just not quite being good enough to get there, if everything is going right for them, we can have that at some point. But right now, I'm not ready to have that discussion, because not everything is set up in a way that everything's working smoothly on the offensive side of the ball, because you've either got true freshmen starting or you've had injuries. And again, you're going to get mad at me because I'm bringing up reasons why things aren't working out, but you just got to give it time sometimes. Again, 9 out of your 11 starters on offense are new this year. That's a big deal.
That's a ginormous deal. And you got to understand that. So, yeah, we keep ended up in situations where we start a whole bunch of new people. It's just, it's the game's the game. You're starting to find the pieces that work. Luckily, a lot of these players will be back next year. Like 26 is going to be roughly the same roster as 24, except for you have a couple freshmen that joined in with Fasusi Fogier, Cortland Guillory, but you have an even more developed Eli Bowen, even more developed Jaden Jackson and David Stone, who are looking awesome. Your edges are going to be even better. So the cornerback room will feel good with Peyton Bowen. You'll have Boganowski, Hardy, as well as Reggie Powers really balling out even more. On the offensive side, like I said, the line's going to be more developed. EPL's running in the starting even more. You'll have a new right guard, which actually may end up being EPL, with left guard going back to Ozida, and that line has grown together with Michael right there in the middle. You're going to start seeing a lot more of returning players. You'll have Satania out there with some veterans of Giovanni Gibson and then Zion Kearney. You're going to see those young players. Elijah Thomas should see a whole bunch of snaps. X-Rob, John Mateer, as well as Torrey Blaylock, and Taylor Tatum still be around. If he can get healthy, he'll be back on the field. You're going to start seeing a lot more of the players from the last 3 years. And as long as we hang on the majority of them and, play the ones that we want to hang on to, we should be good. So,
yeah, this offseason is going to be huge on retention on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. For this game, though, at Shank Boogie on X says, we need the cornerbacks and safeties to play their best game of the season. May need to limit RSJ in this game. I don't necessarily agree with that. Has Robert Spears Jennings had some moments that people will be able to point out, when you're playing in the open field against SEC talented players, you're going to get beat sometimes. That's the live and die world of a Brent Venables defense and playing safety in it, unfortunately. But he has had some good moments as well. He has been an important player on this defense. I just think you've gone up against some really good players and sometimes just get beat.
Yeah, it feels like he's doing a little extra. Like he's trying to be around and make the big plays and stuff and be the one in certain spots. We don't need that. I need BV to really put him back to what he was last season. Let him blitz off the edge. Let him be the dude that comes down to the box and comes through and gets that strip sack on the back, right? He did a very good job on those hits. When you brought that pressure that way, he was fantastic at it. Now, granted, we know teams are watching for him on that. That's when you can swap it out with the Reggie Powers or Kendall Daniels. Have RSJ playing out there in center field and having him watch the deep stuff and be able to come across and eventually get himself another interception. He's due one. So we got to wait and see if we can get one of those to happen. But I think it's just, I think he's just trying to make sure that he's not making any mistakes, which kind of leads to some of them sometimes. But I'm still very high on him. I need him to be watching the ball more. I need him to go out there and get us some picks. I'm hoping that they're teaching these boys to turn their dang heads around and be prepared for, as soon as they see a dude try to run past them, to start chasing right there with them and make those catches. But we know that Tennessee's going to go deep. We got to have a dude or two ready to defend it.
Yep. Tabs Are Us from YouTube says, if we run our 10 yards per carry running back more than 9 times, we could win. Totally agree. Yeah. And just really 15 to 20 touches for Xavier Robinson, another 10 to 15 for Torrey Blaylock. And I think you have a great shot at winning this game.
Or just run it 27 times with X-Rob and give Torrey Blaylock another 10.
Yeah.
And 15.
Let's
go for 40-something rushes. Let's go. Just the running backs.
Yeah. Just run the ball.
Yeah.
Still confident in this team. Just need to learn how to finish and be consistent. This one comes from Hunter Van on YouTube.
Yeah, we'll get there. That's the thing. And I think that in the final predictions, we'll definitely be able to tell you how we can get there.
I think Teddy Lehman says it best. You just got to learn how to win. And that's really what it comes down to.
That's true.
This final one comes from Ronald Tabor on YouTube. He said, YouTube. He says, not to be a stick in the mud, but my warm fuzzy meter is stuck on 0. The hopium has worn off. A loss Saturday will likely cascade into a doom spiral. I mean, I'm on social media, so I think among the fan base, it absolutely would a loss. But would you be more concerned about this team if they lost in Knoxville to Tennessee? Because I think going into the season, a lot of people pegged that one as a loss.
Yeah. The win that we should have got, to me, the 2 losses I pegged, the 2 to 3 losses I pegged, if I said we had them, was probably Texas. I was thinking it was going to be possibly LSU. I don't feel like that's there anymore. And I had it between Tennessee and Alabama. I thought we would split that. Going to Neyland, getting a bye week and then playing Bama is a big deal. Now, granted, Bama the week before us, they play against LSU, and that's not, even though there's a little bit of angst there, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal for Bama in that game. They may actually go in there and just destroy them with ease, make it like a bye week for them, workout. So I'm hoping LSU puts up the fight, but they have a new coach. So they may, they love Frank, so they may actually show up differently in that game and cause problems. We'll see, but I had this game as one of these two. We were gonna have to split it. We were gonna either try to figure out the win in Tennessee, in Knoxville, or win in Tuscaloosa. And I'm hoping that we just go ahead and just win in Knoxville and in Tuscaloosa just to take the pressure off my back.
For sure. Yeah, this is one of those, I think, I can't remember if I pegged this one as a win or a loss, but probably I had it as a win before the season because we didn't know exactly what Joey Aguilar was going to look like in this offense because you did. You thought it was going to be great. I was not so sure, but it's turned out to be great. So, and this thing sets up for you to be able to go and pull off an unlikely win. So if you go win this one, I think it sets you up. You still have everything to play for. You still control your own destiny with the college football playoff. You go lose it. And I don't think we should act like it's the end of the world to lose this one. You lose to Missouri or LSU to close the season. And listen, we'll have a lot of long discussions about this team and the program and the direction if you lose one of those 2 games or both. But your next 2 games at Tennessee, at Alabama, I mean, to me, they're both losable games, but if things fall right for you and Oklahoma plays a good game, it's certainly a winnable game. So, Jay, as we get into final predictions, give me the key to the game for Oklahoma and your final prediction.
John Mateer is going to have to be good in the pass so that the run can continue to be successful. Final prediction, I flip-flop so much in this game. I have been heavy lean on Tennessee winning this game by like 3 points. The spread appears to be dropping a little bit, even with all the traffic on Tennessee. If we hold up our end of the bargain, man, John, this one's a tough one. It's hard. Right now, Tennessee is a 2.5-point favorite with a 55.5 point over under. It opened at Tennessee 3.5, so it's dropped a whole point. And all the traffic is on Tennessee because of how atrocious our offense has looked. This is the bounce back game for the offense. Oklahoma wins this game 35-30.
Yeah, I struggle with the idea that Oklahoma could get into the 30s and win this game. And again, it's a defense that they should be able to score on, but so was last week's. Last week's defense was one they should have been able to score on, and they had opportunities. They just couldn't capitalize on it. And so this to me is a very much a prove it game for John Mateer. It's not going to write his whole story, but you've got to have this one, and he's got to come through in a big moment. He's got to come through. You can't have another off day, can't have another timid John Mateer. I need aggressive John Mateer like we saw against Michigan and Auburn. Turnovers be darned. Dude's just got to see the field and throw it and be on time and be accurate. But again, I also think that the defense needs a bounce back performance. And I think they're going to come into this one with a bit of a chip on their shoulder, playing with some fire under them after what happened last week, where they feel like they let one get away. Again,
I agree.
The Oklahoma defense had a lot of opportunities to get off the field on third down. Trinidad Chambliss made them pay for losing contain in a lot of situations. I think there maybe was only 1 or 2 throws that he made that got them off, that kept them on the field on third and longs, but it was his scrambling ability that really killed Oklahoma. So I do think that they come in and they play a much better game on the road. They play a much more consistent game against this Tennessee team. And I think that they are able to hold Tennessee under 30. And so I'm looking at this one and I'm thinking Oklahoma 27, Tennessee 24. And I know that may sound like
both teams under 30, huh?
Yeah. I don't know why. It's just the SEC just has this variability aspect to it where you don't know what's going to happen. And like the Vanderbilt Texas game, or not the Vandy Missouri game. I think a lot of people were kind of surprised at the way that one went down. I think we could be surprised at the end of this one with the way it goes down. But to me, it's the defense has to step up and they have to hold Tennessee under 30 in order for Oklahoma to win.
Yeah.
All right.
I can totally see it.
All right. And that's going to do it for this episode of Locked On Sooners. Thanks so much for tuning in and being a part of the show. Subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're free and available on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. So hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to let you know when new episodes drop. Follow Jay at Unfair Sports. Go check out his channel, Unfair Sports, over on YouTube, and follow me at John9Williams and read my work covering the Sooners over at SoonersWire.com. The show is at Locked On Sooners on all of your favorite social media platforms. And hey, Jay, what's your favorite Halloween candy?
Candy corn.
What? Are you kidding?
Because it's delicious. It's amazing.
Oh, listen, I'm not a candy corn hater, but of all the options that are out there, candy corn?
Candy corn is not my favorite, but I love candy corn. I just want to say that because I knew that you were going to freak out.
Okay.
I'm a big nerds guy. Let's get it.
I liked your candy corn answer better. Really? Okay. All right. So make sure you can have all my nerds, dude. Don't worry.
Yes.
They're safe. Nerds to me are like just a smaller version of like a Smartie, and it's pointless candy. It's the throw-in candy in the big candy bag. I don't need
Peeps are?
Nerds.
No.
Smarties.
No. Smarties are even better.
Dude.
Tart.
Oh my God. This is so disappointing.
Let me get the lightning of Thor and do something to you about that.
This is Thor. This is Thor, Love and Thunder Thor. He's out of his mind right now.
No, he's in his mind. He's in his bag.
So for you all listening, Jay is dressed up as Thor with the wig. He's got the blonde wig. He's got the full.
Who said this is a wig? This is my hair. I am Thor of Asgard. What are we doing here?
My apologies. Yes. The hammer has given him this luscious blonde hair.
Exactly. All the locks.
All the locks. I'm donning Bearhead from Danny Go. All the dads of toddlers will know who Danny Go is, or grandparents of toddlers will know who Danny Go is. But Bearhead's a character. Anyway, for me, dude, it's the classic. It's Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. That's my go-to every time, or a Mr. Goodbar, or a fun size Snickers. Don't give me no miniatures. I don't want miniatures. Keep your miniatures. It's fun size or better. That's how we roll in my house. We don't do the miniatures because it's not the same candy. Also, keep your white chocolate peanut butter cups.
I'll take all the white chocolate peanut butter cups that exist. I'll take them.
Okay, so we just got to go trick or treating together because we would balance each other out perfectly.
100% guaranteed.
Jeez. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Locked On Sooners. Let us know in the comment section what your favorite Halloween candy is. The one, either a throwback from your youth or right now, the ones that you're hoarding and not passing out to the trick-or-treaters. Let us know. And then, hey, we'd love to hear what your favorite costume was growing up as a kid as well. For me, it was dressing up as Sting, from not like dark Sting from WCW, but like early days Sting with the flamboyant face paint. Yeah, that was my guy. But anyway, let us know. Again, hit us up on all your favorite social media platforms. But until next time, when we go live talking about Oklahoma versus Tennessee, he's Jay Smith. I'm John Williams. Boomer
Sooner.